Welcome everybody inside the Newman Gymnasium here for Game 2 of the home set for Husson University Women's Volleyball. We've got a matchup between your Eagles and the Monks of St. Joseph's College. It's going to be an exciting matchup. We saw this 1 year ago on senior night last year. Again, this one went to 4 sets. St. Joe's went out, took an early lead, 2-0. Husson came back and stormed back to take that victory. This one's going to be an exciting one. Ethan Moss alongside Ryan Barnes bringing you this coverage. Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit more?
As you said, last matchup going to 5 sets. St. Joseph's winning the first 2. Husson storming back to win the final 3. One thing to look for in this matchup is your freshman hitters. On the St. Joseph's side, you have Larissa Kamoli, freshman middle back, and then for Husson, you have freshman Janet Prescorn. And just so far this season, Prescorn with 38 kills, Kamoli with 34. Last game for Husson against University of New England, 9 kills for Prescorn, Kamoli with 5. Pretty equal on the digs for the season so far. Kamoli with 15, 14 for Prescorn, and 9 blocks for Kamoli. Prescorn with 2. So there's just 2 to look out for. Two young players stepping up for their team. And it's interesting to see what they will do tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, after you say that, both of those players missing from the starting lineups, you see a different look for the Eagles. They'll be fielding Cheyenne Young, Nicole Hobbs, Beatrice Tercy will be the libero. Jana Prescorn is back in the starting lineup. I apologize for that. Olivia McIntyre, Cam Schweitzer, and Marion Glinsky, your starters for the Eagles. And for the Monks, Abby Jerome, Larissa Kamoli, Victoria Briones, Caitlin Chamberlain, Nadia Sixto, Hannah Webster, and Maggie Sylvester. It'll be Chamberlain to start it off. This one back to the back row. Outside Young looks for the first kill, does not get it. Now back outside. Tercy gets that. Young off the block, handled by the back row of St. Joe's. Now looking over the middle, off the net. The Eagles take the first point.
Nice back and forth action there, and Sylvester just not able to send it home.
Sylvester wearing 77 from the outside hitter position. It'll be Prescorn now on the service for the Eagles. This one low, mishandled, and just barely able to keep it up with Sylvester. They get it back over. Now McIntyre sets up Young over the middle off the block. And they get it back over yet again. McIntyre again, now bumped over by White. Mishandled by McIntyre.
Coach Gordon not happy with what looks like a missed call.
It did look like a missed call to me as well. Here there was a double hit off of that block with Young tapping it over. But it'll be Briones to serve for the Monks. Presscorn in the back row gets it up. Now White on the outside taps it over. Harsh hit. Unable to get there is Blinsky. As that was Nadia Sixto on the outside. This gym is very loud, very early. And this one, a lot of that same energy we had last time these two teams met. This one off the net and unable to get there is Presscorn. Good placement from the sophomore out of El Paso, Texas. Watched her a bit in warm-ups, and she has a very heavy hand. A lot of these balls coming off are very fast. Going to be hard to contend with. There's Percy in the back row now. McIntyre over the middle. Young gets it off the block, and that finds the ground. 3-2.
Nice little tip there by Young to just give it just enough rotation for it to fall. Not too far from the net and even inside the line there.
Now here's Tercy to serve. Into the back row. Jonas will get it over to Sixto. Sixto bumps it over. Now Schweitzer over the middle. That one just outside. And the Eagles tie it up 3-3. Just a little too hard on that. Was Sylvester, I believe. Now Tercy again to that back row. Jonas is there to handle it. Sylvester again across. Presscorn is there. Now outside White off the block, handles it again. McIntyre to the back row. Presscorn deep. Now Briones digs that out. Sylvester again, handled by McIntyre. That's a good dig. Now Presscorn in the back row again, sends it too far. 4-3.
Just a tiny bit too much there by Presscorn. That was a great job by Sarah White, who is getting her first taste of home action this season after suffering an injury last season. Just staying with it after getting her hip block, just staying with it, getting it back up for her teammates to take.
Back outside to Young. She taps it to the back row. Briones is there, sets up Sylvester. That goes out of bounds, and we're tied at 4. First substitution for the Eagles has Alexa Beal coming in for McIntyre. As Young is back now in the rotation to serve. Across the middle. Now tapped over. They give the point to St. Joe's. I'm not quite sure what violation they saw there. It's a double hit.
Looked like they called, might have been Schweitzer in the net. She was the one closest to the net in that area where the whistle was blue.
This one short. Beal puts it off the post, and it goes out of bounds. 6-4 now for the Monks. And of course today, see lots of pink dotted around. This is the Big Pink game for breast cancer awareness. Husson Volleyball puts this on every year. It's fun to see. Of course, I do not own a piece of pink clothing. Otherwise, I'd be sporting that today.
You didn't get a nice little ribbon on your way in?
I didn't find any more. I think they were out of ribbons. There's White on the outside. Good hit towards the back. Sylvester able to handle that. And a little wide. Now Tercy. Tapped back over by Beal. Now here's Sixto to the back row. That one's high, but handled by Young as they get it back over. Now Sylvester again, just short and off the net.
Sylvester had the right idea there, just not able to get her entire hand on the ball. Just looked like maybe bounced off a couple fingers and wasn't able to get 100% on that. But definitely a good look there.
Couple of changes for the Monks. It is Tamaya Johnson and Sarah Joe coming in. Now Sarah White in service. Sends this one to the back row. Jerome is there to handle it. Sylvester, good hit. Blocked at the net. Now sent back to Schweitzer. Good hit across. And just outside is the call of the line judge. Almost getting there. Making contact with that was Johnson. It's a very close call for the Monks. Another substitution for the Monks. Alyssa McMullen comes in. She'll go back in service.
There was a little bit of hesitation by the refs there to call that one. I don't know if one of them thought they may have seen a tip there, but ultimately, point for St. Joseph's.
Here's McMullen. Schweitzer over the middle. Just barely getting there is McMullen. An awkward hit. And Briones can't get it over the net. 8-6 in favor of the Monks. Schweitzer goes back to serve. It's a high arcing serve, a bit of a knuckleballer. Sent to the back row, a little too hard. Off the hands of Hannah Webster, the junior captain for the Monks. And now 8-7. Schweitzer goes too hard towards the back corner. And 9-7 now in favor of the Monks. They've just been about pacing with each other so far early on in this first set.
And this also expected. Both teams having similar seasons so far.
Husson, of course, having that tough schedule to open up their year. That one just inside. But Husson having tough schedule to open up their year, starting their year 0-5. That's not quite the start that they wanted. But SUNY, Delhi, Wells, Bates, all of them very tough opponents. University of New England College. It's been a long couple weeks to start off the season. And right there with a service ace is Olivia McIntyre to tie it up.
Now, I actually did my research for this game. That is McIntyre's 12th ace of the season.
One of her strong suits. Again, the other category that we see her excel in is assisting. She'll set up her teammates really well as Prescorn sends that one a little too far out of bounds.
That one was an absolute laser.
There's a lot of heat coming off the hands of Prescorn, and sometimes it's a little hard to control. Caitlin Chamberlain now to serve for the Monks. This one a looper sent to the back row. Outside to Prescorn, she taps it over. There to get it is Jerome. Now outside to Sixto, blocked, but a double hit called. Now it'll be Prescorn to serve for the Eagles, knotted at 10. Sent across, just barely getting back over, tapped back by White. Sent an outside to Sixto, unable to get there in the back row is Prescorn. Sylvester will come back into the game. And back once again to serve is Briones. Briones. Now there's McIntyre to Young. She powered up for that one, finds the back corner. Great kill from Cheyenne Young, who's been doing a lot of that work for the Eagles. Here's Tercy, just too low off the net. Here's Jerome. Young gets there. She's back outside off the hands of McIntyre. That one's blocked at the net. Now looking outside to White. She finds the back row. This one off the block and finds the ground. 13-11 now in favor of the Monks. Both teams have done a great job of stopping the streaks and runs we so often see in volleyball. So far here in this first set, Schweitzer a little too hard towards the back row. That one goes out of bounds, 14-11. And Coach Gordon will take the first timeout for the home side. We're going to step aside, and we'll be right back here with the first set. Back out of the timeout as the Monks lead this one 14-11 here in the first set. Been about a back and forth battle so far. Monks now scored 3 in a row under the service of Abby Jerome. Also their libero for today, the senior out of Barrington, New Hampshire. And this one right back into play. Young over the middle. Now back outside to Sylvester. She goes to the back corner. But Prescorn is there. Now Schweitzer off the net. And largest lead of the night now for the Monks. 15-11 as they lead by 4. Jerome sends it out of bounds, and a good call by that back row, that veteran back row, with Young and Tercy right there, able to watch that one go out of bounds. Beal will come back in for the Eagles. And now back to serve will be Cheyenne Young. Slight confusion on the rotation, which can get pretty confusing.
I've been down there doing that score sheet, and it's just as confusing as it looks.
Yeah, it pretty much is. Here's Young, sends that one out of bounds, and it goes right back to St. Joe's. There's a lot of moving parts in this sport, and it can be very hard to keep up with it at some times.
Even when I played in high school, I was called for out of rotation so many times.
Tercy gets there on the dig, and a nice putback from the Monks. Now 17-12. Maya Johnson in the serve. This one short, handled by Beal. Now looking to Schweitzer off the block. White gets there, and point goes to the Eagles. As they say, St. Joe's reached over to make that play. White just off the top of the net. 18-13. Nicole Hobbs will re-enter the game for the Eagles. And back in for the Monks, Allison McMullen. Junior out of Jacksonville, Florida. This one, low serve handled in the back row. Now Presscorn on the outside, gets it to that corner. Now looking back over the middle. There's Sarah Joe to get that one. Now Schweitzer gets it over the block and finds the floor.
Great play all around. First was Tercey with the dig, the set, and then the finish.
Now here's Schweitzer on the serve. Goes to that back row. Jerome gets there. Now outside. Just inside. Beautifully found that back corner was Victoria Briones. They're just about keeping pace with the Eagles now. They've expanded their lead to about 4-5. They get the serve right back after giving it up. It'll be Hannah Webster. Into that back row for Hobbs. Now outside to Presscorn off the block. Denied at the net.
And just like the matchup we talked about earlier, it was Presscorn versus Kamoli. Coincidentally, 9 versus 9. And Kamoli had a part in that block there to give St. Joseph's a 6-point lead now in this first set.
Out of that back row, Hobbs gets there on a bit of an awkward. Here's Presscorn again. That one goes off the hands of Webster all the way up to the ceiling. Almost hits her on the way back down. That should tell you a little bit of the power that Presscorn has. And the Eagles get the serve right back. It'll be McIntyre to take it. Wow.
She said, you're going to block now, put her right back into you.
I'll put it through you at that point. Wow. There's McIntyre, low serve, getting there on the dive is Jerome. Now sent back over by Joe. Young over the middle, sends it back, and unable to handle that was Kamaya Johnson.
Beautiful dig right there by Tercey. And I can say this all game. Every single ball that she's touched been straight up, over to the right side, exactly where you want it to be for the setter.
There were some questions coming into this year about who the libero is going to be for this Eagle squad. Longtime libero Amber May graduating, now serving as an assistant. And Tercey has filled into that role really well. Presscorn makes a split-second decision to tap that one past the block and pays off, rolls off the block and finds the floor. Now 20-17, and St. Joseph's will take a timeout. Coach John Roberts takes his first. We're going to step aside. It's 20-17 here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back here out of the break at the Newman Gymnasium, Deacon Moss alongside Ryan Barnes. Eagles starting to run back into this one, 20-17 now. Cut this lead down from 6 to 3. And Olivia McIntyre with the serve for the Eagles. Low serve now back outside. Brianes is there. Percy with a great attempt at that. And just sends it out of bounds, 21-17.
Tursi did what she needed to do there. Got in front of the ball. Got it up. Just the spin on the ball just happened to lead out of bounds. But definitely a good job getting in front of it, especially with the ball going that hard.
Again, we talked a lot about the power of Prescorn and Brianes as well. Lots of power on the outside. Now, Prescorn again for the Eagles, sends it to the back row. And unable to get there is Kaylin Chamberlain. It felt like a bit of a miss-hit from McMullen in the back row. Trying to get it up and kind of finds no man's land for the Monks. Now Prescorn to serve again. Maddie Shepard comes into the game for the Eagles. This one goes off the hands of Jerome and into the bleachers. Great serve from Prescorn. Eagles bench loves that. So does this crowd. It keeps filling up off to our right.
About 6:30 football practice getting out. Locker room's right there.
Prescorn again off of Jerome. Sometimes all you got to do is try to get out of the way and try to get a hand on it. That's what happened there. Doesn't play out in favor of the Monks. Now, once a 6-point lead, now down to 1. Here's Prescorn again. Jerome gets there this time. Now looking over the middle. Brianes off the block. And they can't get there. 22-20.
It's a great run by the Eagles and Prescorn specifically. First getting the kill with the assist from McIntyre. 2 straight service aces, getting into a 1-point game. Now you're down 2. Got to get to 25.
And Brianes on the serve. This one, Alupo sent out of bounds, and the Eagles get it right back. Tried to go to that back corner. Nobody was back for the Eagles. And just a little too hard. Now here's Tursi. This one, a low serve to that back row. Brianes is there to handle it. Now looking over the middle of Sixto. Tursi in the back row. McIntyre gets there over by her bench. Tapped back over by Young. Now Jerome again looking to Sylvester. Just finds Prescorn in the back row, unable to get there. Off to her left. Good decision there. Prescorn is caught moving to her right on that play as the service goes back to the Monks. It'll be Jerome. He goes off the net. And this first set has just been about everything we promised. Really good, close first set in this contest. 23-22 in favor of the Monks. Now Cheyenne Young to serve for the Eagles. This one goes short. Jerome is there. Now looking outside to Sylvester. Goes off the block. Kept alive by the Monks. Now Sixto bumps it back over. Tursi is there. Young sets up Beal. There to get there are the Monks. Good reaction from Young to get there again. Shepard sends it off the net, and the Eagles can't keep it alive. 24-22.
Coach Gordon arguing that St. Joseph's tipped it. Appears not to be the case.
Sixto sends it out of bounds.
That one was a risky take. It looked awful close, and I mean, there's a reason why I didn't play past sophomore year. There's a reason why I'm not playing in college. I probably would have gone and gotten that, but these girls obviously know what they're doing way more than I would.
Again, that veteran back row now in the rotation. It was Young and Tercey yet again. We saw that a little earlier. Now coming into the game, it'll be Reagan Libby to serve for the Eagles. Seeing her first action, the freshman out of Brooksville, Maine. Coming in a good spot. This one, Sylvester sends it over the middle. Now here's Young looking outside to Prescorn. Just able to get it back over is Johnson. Sylvester again, Prescorn sets it up for Young. Now Young sends it back off the block. Johnson again. Jerome will set it up. Bumped back over by Brownays. Now here's Young again to Prescorn. Beal taps it over. Sylvester bumps it back over. Getting there on the dive is Young. Now over to Schweitzer. Schweitzer gets it there. This is a good one. Sylvester again blocked. Taps it back over. Beal gets there reactionary. Sylvester again. Now back to her. Back row and out of bounds.
What a volley. I don't even know where to start.
I don't know where to start either. I'm hyped. I don't know about you, man. Everybody's loving that.
Really love it on the ground towards the end there.
Wow.
A huge point, really. I mean, the tied at 24 with the set on the line.
Now you got to come down. Here's Libby again. Blocked at the line. Now to the back row. That one goes out of bounds, and the Eagles take the lead.
Interesting to see if Coach Roberts for St. Joseph's, and yep.
Smart decision to take the timeout. Coach Roberts, like you said, they had the one timeout left. Husson takes the lead for the first time since the very early portions of this set. Now you've got to come back down to earth after that. Boy, that was intense.
You have the momentum right now. And
of course, we got our lovely pep band off to our right.
Kind of caught me off guard there. I forgot what I was going to say. But you have the momentum. And yes, with the timeout, it kind of dissolves that a little bit. But you definitely do have the bench. You have the crowd. You have the band playing Funky Town right now. The energy in here definitely top tier.
I mean, it is just about an average Thursday at Husson University. Again, a lot of these other sports teams really, really love to show out for as many games as they can, support their fellow student athletes. Doing it in a big way here today. Now here's Libby with the serve, 1 point lead for the Eagles as we come out of the timeout. This one, out of the back row, Jerome. Looks over the middle, blocked. Schweitzer is there. Young puts it up. Now Tercey to the outside. Prescorn, and they take the first set. What a way to come back from the Eagles.
Wow. Being down the most, I think it was about 6 points, being down, coming back, getting that momentum, especially towards the end of the set, those last 2 points. Everything you want in that situation if you're Husson coming away with this first set victory.
And with that, we're going to step aside. Eagles take the first set in a bit of a thriller. A bit is probably an understatement. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes here from Bangor. Back here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network, Ethan Moss alongside Ryan Barnes. And we're just still trying to recover from the ending to that first set.
I don't know about necessarily recover. Let's just keep this going.
Honestly, if the Eagles can keep riding that momentum that they had and keep it going, this is theirs to run away with, it feels like.
Bench definitely carrying. It's still a lot of dancing.
The vibes are very good.
Lots of energy.
Vibes are very good in the building.
This is not a position I really would want to be in if I was St. Joseph's, especially with how you lose that first set. And knowing that Husson has all the momentum right now, you kind of need a maybe 4 or 5 point start to the set to just even things out, or else Husson could run away with this.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's important. That's why I think we'll see some personnel changes. We already see one. Sabrina Arcilla coming in as the libero for Abby Jerome. So she will be on those duties for this set as McIntyre gets this one underway. That one can't get quite over, and the Eagles grab the first point of this set. That was off the dive of Brianes. There also was Chamberlain, couldn't quite get it over the net. McIntyre sticks with it, trying to preserve this momentum for the Eagles. Great serve yet again. Brianes taps it back over, getting there on the dive was Prescorn, or Hobbs, excuse me. Bit of a miscommunication between her and Tercy. Greta McIntosh, Reagan Noonan will step in for the Monks, now tied up at 1. Now Brownays looks to Young in the back row. Tercy sets her up off the block. And that goes out of bounds for another Eagles point. Shepard will come into the game for Hobbs, as Prescorn will be back to serve for Husson. This one goes low off the net and finds the floor of the Newman Gymnasium. Eagles, again, you said it's important to come out firing for the Monks. They have had no response at the moment.
Husson just picking up right where they left off from that first set.
This one goes to the back row. Arcilla is there. Now Sixto off the block. That one finds no man's land, and they get a point back, 3-2.
Although Husson still kind of does hold momentum, St. Joseph's doing a good job just keeping it back and forth.
And here's Arcilla on the serve. That one goes to Tercy, sets up Shepard on the outside. Too hard, and it's tied up. One once again to Tercy. Great service. And that Shepard redeems herself, finds the no man's land, and it's 4-3. Now Schweitzer will come into the game. Tercy back to serve. This one goes off the net and finds the floor again. Eagles have done that a couple of times. Of course, the net in play. And when those happen, it's kind of like, oh, I'll take that. I don't really know what's going to happen when the ball hits the net. Sometimes it rolls over, sometimes it rolls down. All about the spin on it. Here's Sixto off the block. And the Eagles set up. Unable to handle that.
I was always told when I was younger there was a leprechaun on the net that kind of decides where the ball goes.
It seems just about true. no matter what spin you put on it, really doesn't affect it all that much. Can help sometimes, but
it really
never
depends.
really know.
It also depends on how much of the net you hit, because the top of it is kind of like this little wire, for lack of better terms, than the net, obviously, being a net.
Young goes off the block of McIntosh. And the Eagles now up 6-4, trying to keep this lead going. But again, they did not lead since the early going of that first set. Came all the way back, put together a nice run off of a fantastic volley to take that first set. Trying to keep that momentum going here. Here's McIntosh. Now Tercey will set up Shepard on the outside. Off the block, getting there is Webster. Unable to get it over the net is Ava Brownsword. Eagles lead at 7-4. Young goes to the back row, off of McIntosh. Now to Brownsword. Brownsword puts it over. Now here's Schweitzer off the block. Prescorn gets there. Now Young sets up Schweitzer again. Here's Johnson outside. McIntosh off the hand and off the net. Eagles lead by 4.
Greta McIntosh getting her first taste of action this season so far, just not able to get enough onto that as it kind of just rolls alongside the net and drops.
Young too hard to the back row. Young always takes a moment, takes a breath before she sets up into her serve routine. It feels like she's powering up that time, maybe a little too much.
Definitely a little more gas in that than needed.
Back to serve is Jessica Christman, freshman out of Virginia Beach for the Monks, sends it off the net. Eagles maintaining about a 4-point lead. Now here's Shepard to serve for the Eagles. This one goes low. Johnson tapped over by Webster. Now Young looks to Prescorn off the block. To the back row, Johnson runs into a teammate, pushed back over by Arcilla. Now outside, there's Beal, keeps it alive. Now Prescorn again off the block. Johnson gets there, sends it back over. Prescorn to Young, to Beal, kept alive by Schweitzer off that block. Again, Tercey will just get it back over. Give the Eagles a chance to reset. They tap it back over to that back row. Nice dig by Young. Prescorn will send it to the back row. Now Johnson, and finding some ground finally is Brownsword.
Brownsword. Well, first of all, let's just talk about how awesome of a last name Brownsword is. Second of all, she was able to find that space in between Young and Tercey. Just a little miscommunication. One thought the other was going to get it. It happens. A 3-point game. A lot of volleyball to bounce back from.
Here's Tercey again. Prescorn has to bump it back over. And they have to let it fall after hitting it too many times. Again, Coach Gordon pleading his case that the Monks are reaching over. Here's Webster again. Hobbs is there, now looking to Prescorn off the block, and that goes out of bounds. Eagles take another point. Linsky comes back into the game. Now here's Schweitzer on the serve. Brownsword too short. Arcilla's done a great job of handling some of these serves from the Eagles for the Monks. handles that one. Now Johnson to that back row. That one's going to go off the basketball hoop. And unable to get there was Schweitzer. I thought that one was going to go through the net.
I was kind of hoping that, honestly.
I was hoping it was. I was hoping it was.
And still, I don't think that would be the longest shot made in this court.
Probably not.
I've heard stories of a Thomas College buzzer beater to win a game here, and I believe that was just longer.
Can't get too much longer than a full court shot. Young is there. We're going to say
someone was reaching over there. Wasn't sure if it was Young.
Yeah, they're going to say that the Monks reached over there, that front line of Noonan and Sixto, trying to combine on that block. Now it'll be McIntyre to serve for Husson. Handled by Briones. Now Sixto puts some English on it, unable to keep it alive is Prescorn. Now 12-9. Now Briones to serve for the Monks. Sends this one over to Young. McIntyre over the middle. Prescorn finds her way off the block.
Hit it at just the right angle for it to fall straight down off that block.
She can hit you with the power, and she can also make some good split-second decisions in terms of some great placement.
It was good enough for her 6th kill of this game.
This one mishandled by Sixto. And a service ace for Prescorn, as the Monks will take another timeout. Down by 5 here in the second set. Coach Roberts going to want to try to get some momentum back into his squad. We're going to step aside here from Bangor. Eagles lead this one by 5 coming out of the break here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Second set as the Eagles playing a little bit smoother than they did in that first set. And again, trying to preserve that momentum from a wild ending. As Prescorn maintains the serve, sends it to the back row. Briones, bit of an awkward hit. They keep it alive into the net. Now lead up to 6. I feel like that first point out of a timeout is always incredibly important.
It always is, because it just defines momentum of how it's going to go after that timeout. And if you're the team that calls the timeout trying to want to slow the other team down and you lose that first point, luckily St. Joseph was able to get that one back. But if you end up losing that first point, it almost makes the timeout, I don't want to say it doesn't mean anything, but just kind of
makes it feel more like a moot point.
Yeah.
As Arcilla on the serve, tapped over by Kaminsky. Now to that back row, Pressthorn caught off guard. And the Monks get 2 in a row under the service of Arcilla. This one goes back. Tercey gets there, just gets it back over. She'll get there again, tries to set up Shepard. Goes to that back row. Arcilla is there. Now a good hit from McIntosh. She finds her stride with that one. Not much you can do if you're a Tercey or McIntyre. Set up deep. Now 3 straight for the Monks. This one goes out of bounds. Eagles get it back. 16-12. They maintain their lead by 4. Tercey will serve. Short serve handled in the back row by Brownaise. She tries to get it back over off the net. And point goes to the Eagles.
Husson with what might be their largest lead of the night so far, 5 points. Only 8 away from the set victory.
This one mishandled by Arcilla in the back row. She hits it too low for Sixto to get there. Lead is up to 6 points for the Eagles. Now here goes Tercey, that goes out of bounds.
Just a little too much mustard on that one.
Now here's Sixto to serve. Outside to Young. Young gets there. Nice recovery from the Monks, and that lands out of bounds. Eagles get another.
That definitely was a close one. We kind of really don't have the best vantage point from right here for balls landing right around there. You don't know if it kind of touches the line, if it kind of stays in. Ultimately ended up going out of bounds for Husson's point.
Now it'll be Young again, back to serve. Sent back to Arcilla. That one sent back over by McIntosh. Tercey looks outside, miscommunication. Pressthorn recovers to that back row. Now to McIntosh again. Pressthorn will set it up to Young as Beal taps it over. That was Quinn on that dig. Tercey now to Shepard. Again as Arcilla tapped over and inbounds. Point goes to the Eagles. It appeared to be inbounds, at least to me. So the Eagles will keep it, now leading by 7 here in this set. There's Young to Arcilla, again over the middle. Good job by Webster. To that back corner, Beal finds it. 21-13, Eagles have kept that momentum alive and well.
Good way to keep that momentum.
And Coach Roberts will take another timeout. His second and final of the set, has his squad down by 8. We're going to step aside here from Bangor. Eagles lead this one now by 8. Largest lead of the night here in the second set. Put together a good run under the service of the grad student out of Eagle River, Alaska, Cheyenne Young, trying to keep it going to take this second set as that one goes out of bounds. Boy, announcer's jinx never fails. Never fails.
You think after I learned my lesson last game,
oh yeah,
for that you would you wouldn't do that. So in that case,
you never know when it'll strike.
So in that case, 4 straight points for St. Joe's.
It'll be Jessica Chrisman to serve for St. Joe's. Tercey, great save by Young. Now Chrisman to the front row, looking good. Tap over by Hannah Webster. Goes up to get that one.
And they called a carry on that. Husson point.
So a carry called on Webster. I thought that was a little close overall.
Definitely was.
And some protest from the St. Joe's bench, rightfully so. I'm calling it on Webster. My ears do not deceive me. So 22-14 will be how it continues. Shepard is back to serve. A tough break, a couple of points in a row for the Monks. Now here's Shepard. Arcilla is there. Outside to Brownays off the block. She gets it back. 22-15. Now it'll be Webster back to serve. Now up outside to Prescorn. Just out of bounds. Point goes to St. Joe's again. It was a good call on the outside. Briones there to make that call to let it go. Now lead down to 6. Soft serve to the back row. Hobbs is there. Sent back over by Beal. Briones again. Again, Hobbs is there. Now outside to Prescorn. Prescorn off the block. That one goes way out of bounds. Eagles point.
Looked like it was deflected. Great set to the outside there by Young to set up Prescorn for that.
Now Schweitzer on the serve. Off the net. And the Monks can't recover. Now 2-set point for the Eagles under the service of Schweitzer.
And this is where that timeout from earlier for St. Joseph's might come to hurt them with no way to stop this momentum right now.
There is Arcilla. Tapped back over by Briones. Miscommunication, but Hobbs gets it now. Sent back over by Prescorn. Arcilla outside to Briones. Just inside to the back corner. Just enough to stay in.
Great ball there.
Kaylin Chamberlain back to serve now for the Monks. Sixto back into the game. Now to the back row. Hobbs gets there outside. Beal can't get it over. 24-18. Outside to Prescorn. Wow. What a way to end the second set. Heat off the hands of Prescorn goes deflected and out of bounds. Not much you can do about it. Eagles take the second set. We're going to step aside for about another 3 minutes, and we'll be back with the third set. Eagles lead it 2-0 over the Monks. Back here for the third set, Ethan Moss alongside Ryan Barnes. Eagles leading this one 2-0 over the Monks. Kaylin Chamberlain will set it off. Now here's Young, stuffed at the line, now sent back over by Sixto. Good recovery from Chamberlain. Sixto again finds that back corner. And the Monks take the first point of this third set.
And most of the time, first point is always the most important point, especially when you're down 2-0. Now having to come back if you want to win this, winning 3 straight.
Of course, we saw the Monks go up 2-0 last year over the Eagles in their home gym. Eagles would like to hold on to this one and not have that narrative flip-flop around on them. Now here's Prescorn. This one sent to the back row, awkwardly handled by Darby and blocked at the line.
Straight into her bare hands too, and I can't imagine that feeling too good. Especially having a ball going that hard straight at your palms.
I know it hurts with baseball, and it's a much smaller ball. And Darby gets there again off the ceiling. Good recovery. Sent back over into the scorer's table. Point goes to St. Joe's. They want to get a wild point there. Again, all the ceiling and accoutrement in the ceiling of the Newman Gym in play. So basketball nets, lights, speakers. Got to play it off of it. Shepard, good recovery from Jerome. Sent back over by Sylvester. Now here's Tercey. Back over. Able to get there is Darby. Sylvester, good dig by Tercey again. Now a chance to reset. That's Sam Holland, actually, the new libero for St. Joseph's. Now Tercey looks to Shepard. Back over to Holland. And a low pass, unable to handle it, was Shepard. St. Joe's wins a long volley there. Now up 3-2. Darby on the serve, sends it out of bounds. Eagles get the serve right back. Now here's Tercey. That one stays inbounds. Tercey with the ace. Had 7 on the year coming into this set. A couple of them already. Sylvester gets it off the net. Now here's McIntyre outside to Shepard. She sets. And a good recovery from Holland to get there. Now here's Schweitzer getting there. Back to Young. She finds the floor.
I thought there could have been a little collision there between Young, I believe it was Prescorn, not knowing who necessarily was going to have that, and Young eventually reaching back for it and hammering it home.
The Monks get tangled up trying to get to that one, but good recovery from Holland. Young over the middle sends the heat over. Chamberlain unable to handle it. Eagles have been very good on the service today. Now 10 make that 11 service aces. Sabrina Arcilla comes back into the game, no longer serving as the libero. Now Tercey continuing her serves for the Eagles. Handled by Holland high. Here's Sylvester off the block. That was Schweitzer and Young there. And a miscommunication from Tercey and Prescorn gives the Monks another point. Now it'll be Holland to serve. Tercey a high hit. Now to Shepard. Getting there was Arcilla. Now outside to Sylvester. And that one finds the floor. 7-5. The Monks trying to claw their way back into this one. Now here's Holland again. This one goes off the net, and unable to get there is Tercey. 7-6.
Nice little run there by St. Joseph's to get back into the set after falling behind a little bit.
This one goes up. Percy there to handle it now outside to Young. Young tries to find the floor. Sixto is there. This one goes too wide for Sylvester. And point goes to the Eagles. They stop the bleeding now. Lead back up to 2. Now here's Cheyenne Young. Over. Arcilla is there now outside of Sylvester. Off the block. Good recovery. Now over and off of the judges' platform for another Eagles point.
Ball took a nice little tour of that side of the court right there. Straight across.
Now here's Young again. This time Holland handles Sixto. Looks back. Arcilla sends it over. Now Young looking outside. Shepard can't get it over. 9-7 in favor of the Eagles. As Sixto, sophomore out of Chattanooga, will take the serve. Percy watches that. Easy kill from Beal off the block of Chamberlain. Kylie Giacumis and Tamaya Johnson, as it'll be Shepard back to serve. This one, a bit of a looper. Now outside, Giacumis taps it over. Here's Tercy looking outside to Prescorn. Off the block and unable to recover was Arcilla. Lead back up to 4 for the Eagles.
And I feel like we've been saying this all night, just what power coming out of Prescorn this entire night and even the entire season so far.
And it's not an easy thing to hit with such power. I mean, you would think it's all about just arm speed and all of that, but you got to really know how to place the ball well on your hand to get that much out of it.
I mean, anyone can really just swing your hand as hard as you can and hit a ball, but just when it comes down to placement, when it comes down to what kind of spin do you want to give on the ball? Do you want to, get it more with, close to your wrist? Do you want to get a little backspin on it?
Change-up serve by Shepard. This one harsh and sent back over by Prescorn. Everything went quiet for a second there as they listened to the reverberation of that hit. And another timeout from the Monks, their first of the set. Coach Roberts wants to talk it over with his team. We're going to step aside as the Eagles lead this one 13-7. I gotta say, we're loving this music from the pep band over in the corner. This is a new addition. It's coming out last year. Student-run club has been a lot of fun to have at all these sporting events.
If I wasn't here, working games and all that, I definitely would be over there.
Shepard goes too short out of the timeout. Heather Darby will come back in for Arcilla. Now it'll be Maggie Sylvester, junior out of Barrington, New Hampshire, to serve for the Monks. This one goes out of bounds. Good decision from Hobbs there. Lead back to 6. Linsky comes back in. It'll be Schweitzer back to serve. And way back as Sylvester gets there now. Trying to tap it over. There's Yakumis. Now here's Glinsky. Double hit called on her. Now 14-9.
I was wondering what, there was yelling off in the distance there. I was wondering what it is, but it was a ball that was kind of in front of the scores table right there. And our new athletic director, John Sudiak, with the save.
Good kill from Beal. She works it off the block. That was Darby and Kamoli trying to combine for that one. And it rolls off, finds the hardwood. Eagles continuing to lead by 6. Facing each other here in this third set as they lead 2-0. Over the Monks, it'll be Olivia McIntyre now. Finding Holland in that back row, and a great kill. Good putback from Kamoli on that one, set up by Holland. Just gets there at the right moment, finds that hole in the back line for the Eagles. Chamberlain comes back in to serve. Sixto comes back in up to that front line on the net.
We've talked about, you know, the matchup, Kamoli and Prescorn. Prescorn so far with 10 kills to Kamoli's 2.
Sixto recovers, and that goes out of bounds over by the scorer's table. Prescorn will be back to serve, like you said. So far, winning that battle, as you tried to highlight in the pregame. Kamoli has not had as much playing time as Prescorn has. This one goes glancing off the net. Now to Kamoli, she taps it over. There to recover are the Eagles. Shepard sends it off the net. Point to St. Joseph's. Now Darby to serve. Sends this one short off the net. Tercy recovers mid-dive. It seems like she got another dive out of that. Sixto taps it over. Now here's Glinsky looking to Prescorn to the back corner. Too hard and out of bounds. Lead down to 4. Off the net for Darby. Eagles get the serve right back. Arcilla comes back in. And Schweitzer comes back in for the Eagles. Beatrice Tercy yet again back. Now working with a 5-point advantage on her serve. Arcilla is there. Now sent back over. Great recovery. And outside to Sylvester. She finds that far corner of the court. 17-13. That was a great kill from Sylvester. Now Holland back in the rotation to serve. Prescorn handles that one, sends it off the net. Now 17-14. Lead down to 3 was once 8.
Kind of curious to see at what point does Coach Gordon decide to take his first timeout of the set if this does keep on going.
Now here's Young. Finds a huge hole in the defense for the Monks.
You know, it's almost like I know what I'm doing with this announcer jinx.
Well, if you can't get rid of it, live with it.
I guess so.
Now Young sends it over off of Holland. Six-toe looks to the back row. Now here's Shepard. Point goes to the Monks. Double hit called on the Eagles. It'll be Giacomis coming back in for Chamberlain and Johnson coming in for Darby. Looping serve handled by Tercey. Looking outside to Beal, finds that hole again. 19-15. Now the advantage for the home team. Webster is there, handled by Tercey, gets it off the net, and too low. Doing a great job to fight in this one are the Monks. Couple of substitutions. Darby comes back in, so does Christman. As that's Arcilla and Sylvester leaving. Christman will take the serve. Sent over, Tercey gets there, a little bit of a knuckler off of her hands. And the advantage now down to 2 for the Eagles. Wiggling their way back into this one are the Monks. And again, that timeout comes into play for Coach Gordon. When does he want to take it? There's Beal. Handled by Holland. Now tapped back over by Darby. Tries to find that hole in the defense. Keeping it alive are the Eagles playing pinball off the net. But can't get it over in time. Now a 1-point lead. Again, this was once an 8-point lead. Goes down as a service ace. They're going to take a look at the floor, trying to dry that off. This one sent low. Presscorn is there. Presscorn gets it off, and that one goes out of bounds. Coach Gordon wants the deflection there. Pleading their case with the referee are the Eagles. Now this one tied up at 19. They have worked their way back into this one. Now here's Christman trying to keep it going. There's Hobbs in the back row, now looking outside to Presscorn again off the block. And the Monks take the lead late here.
There it is.
And no surprise as Coach Gordon will take his timeout. Monks take their first lead of the set since going up 1-0. And we're going to step aside. We'll be back in about a minute from Bangor. Back out of the break here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. The Monks have rallied back in this one from down 8, now up by 1 late in the set. This one sent back over by Giacomis. Here's Tercy looking up to Schweitzer. That one's off the hand of Tercy, and able to get there is Dobbs. Tercy just barely able to get a hand under that to keep it alive. That's a good knuckler off of the hands of, I believe, Webster. As Christman continues her service. Tapped over by Beal. Now Johnson looks to Christman, finds the back corner. Now up by 3. Coach Gordon's going to take another timeout. A couple of really rapid timeouts as the Eagles, last about 4 or 5 points, have looked a little lost on the court. We're going to step aside and be back in about another minute from Bangor. Out of the break, Eagles not trying to let this third set slip away. Again, we're in control for most of the set. Now here's Christman again, trying to keep this run going for the Monks, now up by 3. Point goes back to the Monks. I believe they called another double hit, this time on Tercy. Lead up to 4. Not a win against Cheyenne Young. Hobbs gets up to the front row to clean that one up. Now Johnson will be called for the double hit. And the Eagles get a chance to stop the bleeding here.
That might be the break that the Eagles needed after that run.
Well, we talked about that first set and that run the Eagles had to not only take the lead but win that one. It came under the service of Reagan Libby, who's back into the game. I'm not going to say it this time. But block goes off the net for the Eagles, and another point to St. Joseph's.
And just a dominant run towards the end of the set. 8 straight points by the Monks.
Low serve handled by Hobbs. Pressborn taps it over to the back row. Christman sends it out of bounds.
Now the set's not necessarily over yet. I mean, both teams really have something to play for in this set alone. Husson obviously wanting to go for the win. St. Joseph's just trying not to get swept here.
Now here will be McIntyre. Sends this one to the back row. Looking outside to Darby. Darby gets it back, sends it back over. Tercy takes it from Glinsky. Now Hobbs to the back corner. Christman is there. Johnson over the middle sets up Kamoli, and they get it for the victory here in the third set. Looked like the Eagles had a couple of good chances to kill that one and trying to get that point back, but are unable to do so, and the Monks sneak away with the win here in the third set. We're going to step aside for about 2.5 minutes and be back here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Here for the fourth set, Ethan Moss and Ryan Barnes. This has been a great one so far. Eagles taking the first two sets. St. Joe's showing a lot of poise and working their way back into the third set to take that one late, as we're now ready for the fourth set. The Eagles trying to not to let this one slip away.
Now, I said this heading into the third set, but now it kind of flips a little bit. Now, this is very important for Husson to start the set off right and not give St. Joseph's the momentum, finish off the set, and all of a sudden, we're in the fifth.
It'll be McIntyre trying to get that first point for the Eagles. Briones, you didn't see at all in that first or that third set, back onto the court as Husson takes that first point off of the foul. Briones in the back row gets there. Sylvester over to Sixto. Sixto bumps it over. Now here's McIntyre. Young, good correction, gets it over. Holland unable to set it in a spot for Sixto. Point goes to the Eagles. So they've started this one off about as good as they can hope for the first 2 points. Now McIntyre again to Briones. And this time, another foul called on St. Joe's, and that's not what you want to see trying to open up a set. McIntyre sends it short. And now the Monks will get the serve.
Good start by Husson getting the first 3 points of the set.
Now here's Briones. Back to Young. McIntyre looks to Prescorn. Point goes to St. Joe's. I thought that was deflected at the net, but I suppose not. Briones maintains the serve. Now there's Hobbs. There's Young trying to send it back over. That one stays with the Monks. Coach Gordon calling for a tip.
Now again, we don't really have the best vantage point from up here. It really looked like it could have gone either way, both with who touched it and where it landed.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a few of those today as well. It's always a little difficult to try and tell, at least from our point of view, and a lot of times from the referee's point of view too. There's a lot going on all at once. Percy sends that one out of bounds, and great recovery for 4 straight from the Monks. They're out in front 4-3. Trying to force the 5th set in this one. Here's Briones again. Now looking to Young off of McIntyre. Off of the hands. Getting there to save it is Briones. That goes into the crowd. And Eagles get the point back, now knotted at 4.
Kind of had to lift out of my chair for that one. I mean, I kind of positioned myself just to see the white lines of the court.
Now it'll be Prescorn to serve. This one goes off the net. Sylvester handles it. Now looks back that way and out of bounds. Not going up for the block was Young and Linsky.
And this is the type of back and forth that we had in the first set, where St. Joe's eventually started to pull away.
This one goes to the back corner and too hard. Out of bounds. Like you said, that back and forth, and in that back and forth battle. It was all up to who can put together more in a row, really, it felt like. Now this one goes out of bounds from Holland. Schweitzer comes in for Glinsky. Kersey goes back to serve. This one to the back row. Great hit. Briones was there. Prescorn working to a left, unable to get it up. And we're back to a tie at 6. Young gets that one outside off of McIntyre. And a great kill from Young. Too hard for Briones to handle.
That one going right into the music computer that we use for our games. Thankfully, no expensive technology was damaged.
Plenty of it over there at the scores table. Now it'll be Cheyenne Young. Alexa Beal comes into the game for McIntyre. Now here's Young over towards the bench of St. Joe's, off of the hands of Holland, able to recover Sylvester. Schweitzer sends it. Great recovery from Holland to get that off of the floor. And the Monks keep it alive. Now Tercey looks outside to Schweitzer. Holland gets there. Sylvester again now finding the court as Briones finds that hole in the defense.
Great volley there, especially that just sticking the hand out by Holland to keep the ball up. Looks like we have a timeout.
Coach Gordon takes his first timeout of this 4th set. And we're going to step aside and listen to the lovely pep band. Back out of the break here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Knotted at 7 here in the first set. Eagles take the first 2. St. Joe's responds by taking the 3rd set, trying to take advantage here in the 4th set, force a 5th one. Chrisman on the serve for that one. Tercey sends it back over. Now outside McIntosh. Tercey there will handle it off of the net from Young. And the Monks will take the 1-point advantage. Here's Chrisman. Now Tercey looks to Beal. Back to the back row in Chrisman. Johnson tries to set up a diving Briones. Keeps it alive. Now outside to Shepard off the net. And a 2-point lead for the Monks.
Fans over there trying to get Husson back into this one.
Prescorn awkward hit. That's at a level that you don't really know how to react to it. Now advantage up to 3. St. Joseph's bench is loving it.
There's really no great way to hit it, too, when it's right at your face. You kind of have to turn your arms kind of sideways to do that.
This one goes off the net. The Eagles catch a break. It goes back their direction. Trying to work away now with the advantage for St. Joe's up to 2. Shepard will serve. The back row handled by Christman. Johnson sends it outside, but that's going to be called for a double hit. 10-9. Shepard serve goes to the back row. There is Holland. Now Christman outside to Briones. Off the net. Shepard reacts to it. Now Prescorn gets it over and miss hit from Schweitzer. Makes this one 11-9. Kamali comes back in for the Monks. She's been more or less in and out of this rotation for Coach Roberts. That one blocked at the line by Kamali and Briones. Coming in and making an immediate impact in this 4th set. Trying to continue to work this lead. Here's Webster now on the serve, outside to Prescorn. And another block, that time Kamali and McIntosh lead now up to 4. Here's Webster again. This one sent short, able to get there is Hobbs. Percy mishits, can't get it over the net. This is where it starts to get a little dangerous. We only have 1 timeout left for Coach Gordon taking the early timeout, and now putting together a run are the Monks.
You don't want to take that second one too soon, but you also don't want to wait till it gets too much. As Husson gets one back there.
Now 15-9. That one goes out of bounds for Schweitzer. I believe it should be 16-10. Should be the correct score. Having a little bit of trouble. It will.
The referee looking at the score sheet as that is what they go off of. The score sheet says 15. It's 15.
So 15-10 will be the score. This one is Chamberlain looking to Young. Now outside to Briones. Linsky recovers, sends it too hard. Young was able to get there. And a little too much oomph. And it's now 16-10. Service will stay with Kaylin Chamberlain, senior out of Milford, New Hampshire. Now working with his advantage up to 6 for the Monks. Approaches their largest of the night. Block goes off of Sixto and out of bounds. 16-11 now. McIntyre comes back in for Beal. McIntyre again, very good on the service. This one just in bounds. That was Libby and Tercy in the back row trying to decide to let that go or not, and a great placement from Briones.
Just finding the edge of the court, just in front of the line.
Now Briones will serve just off the top of the net. Outside to Young, past the dive of Chamberlain. Now 17-12. Eagles trying to work with this as best they can. Sarah White comes in for Reagan Libby. And it'll be Prescorn back to serve. Prescorn has been a huge presence on this team for the first 5 games. That one just in bounds, finds that back line. And a service ace for Prescorn. Off the top of the net and on the side of the Eagles. Lead back to 5 for the Monks. It'll be Holland back to take the serve.
Especially in a sport like volleyball, 5 points isn't terribly too much to come back from. Yeah, we saw 8 straight from St. Joseph's in the last set too.
There goes Young again. Finds the hole in the defense. 18-14. Linsky had a great hit that was blocked. And a good recovery from the Eagles to turn that into a point. The Monks had pressed up after that block. Now Tercy to serve, trying to put together a run for the Eagles. Goes off the net. Make that 19-14. It'll be Sixto back to serve for St. Joe's. This one goes short to Tercy. McIntyre outside to White. She taps that over. And a great job by Webster to find that hole. Tercy was all the way back at the back line, and Coach Gordon will take his timeout. Now down by 6, which they've been down in the hole a couple of times at this point. We're going to step aside and be right back here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back out of the break. St. Joe's leads 20-14 here in the 4th set, trying to force that 5th set. Ryan Barnes, I'm Ethan Moss for this one. Nadia Sixto takes the serve for the Monks. Young gets blocked at the net. Now lead up to 7, ties the largest of the night for the Monks, trying to keep this one going. Now Coach Gordon, no timeouts. Sixto sends this one over. Tercy and Young get that one over. Recovery almost there from Prescorn and McIntyre. Now up to 8, good for the largest of the night.
And a big thing in this set at least is blocks and service errors. 3 blocks for St. Joseph's, 5 service errors for Husson. That's essentially 8 potential points that could have gone either way. This could be 22-15. This is 23-14 right now.
So again, finds that back corner. Tercey gets it up. Now McIntyre tapped over by Young. And they're going to say she made contact with the net. So now set point, trying to force that 5th set, are the Monks. They've battled back in these last 2 sets over the Eagles, and Eagles showing a little flat at the moment. Now McIntyre looks to White. She hits it over off the top of the net. Sylvester recovers, sent back over. Now McIntyre again to Schweitzer to the back corner. Sixto is there, tapped over. Chamberlain recovers. Now here's Holland looking to Sylvester, blocked at the net to the back row. Collision there. Prescorn to the back corner, out of bounds. And we will have a 5th set. St. Joe's trying to reverse the fortunes of last year. They went up 2-0 and fell victim to the Eagles coming back in those 3 sets. So we're going to step aside as we get set for this 5th and final set. It's all going to come down to this when we come back. So St. Joe's wins the toss, and we'll stick with our right side of the court for this 5th set. Getting this one play to 15. So a little bit shorter set, not as much room to work with for both of these teams.
And they do switch over once the first team to hit 7 points, essentially for the last half of the set. And to finish the game, you get Husson's bench on the side with the fans that are going absolutely insane right now. Starting the "I Believe That We Will Win" chant. The band joining in. Team getting energized. It's going to be a good one. Buckle your seatbelts, folks.
Some of that energy that we were missing in those last 2 sets coming back into the building now. Crowd getting back into it. Trying to cheer their team on to a home win here tonight. St. Joe's trying to again reverse the fortune of what happened to them last year in this building. Tercey will take care of that first one. Prescorn, a good recovery from Holland. Getting there is Sylvester. Bumped back over by Chamberlain. Now here's McIntyre to Young. Good recovery again. Prescorn taps it over. Keeping it alive is St. Joe's. Now to the back row from Sixto. Here's Prescorn again. And ricochets around, and the Eagles take the first point. There's that energy again. It's so important, especially in a sport like this, a sport of streaks and runs. That energy can really help you out. Now Prescorn will take the serve. Eagles still looking for their first win of the season, starting 0-5 against a tough schedule. And a miscommunication in the back row. Prescorn with the ace.
Not sure what exactly miscommunication was. Briones was just kind of standing there watching as the ball went right in front of her.
That one goes out of bounds. And the Monks will get the serve back. It'll be Briones. This one sent low. Tercy is there to recover. Prescorn off the block, and a great block by Sylvester. And Kamoli right there to deny Prescorn of another kill.
An absolute laser by Prescorn there. It's just the block was right there, and Prescorn unable to get in front of that as it bounces right in front of her.
Now Briones again. Prescorn gets there, another miscommunication. Tercy now to White, off the top of the hand. And unable to get it over the net, now 3-2. St. Joe's takes the lead. This one sent to the back row. Prescorn, good recovery and unable to get there off the ricochet of a diving McIntyre. Prescorn unable to get it back. Advantage of 2 to the Monks. They're just as energized as the Husson fans. Briones looking for 5 straight now. Young puts it up for White to the back. Handled now to Sixto, tries to get it over. Tercy is there to handle it. Now McIntyre to White, she taps it over. Holland is there. Now back to Sylvester, pushes it over, but out of bounds. Getting out of the way was Tercy. It looked like she lost her footing, but I believe that was intentional to get out of the way of that one.
That might be the closest you can get. Being out of bounds, as close you can get to being inbounds there. Very risky take if that indeed was intentional.
That one goes out of bounds, and St. Joe's gets it right back. Coach Gordon takes a timeout early in this set. No surprise there, trying to get his team to settle down a little bit. And we're going to step aside. It's the Monks with a 2-point advantage here in the 5th and final set. Back out of the first timeout for Coach Gordon. It'll be Sam Holland for the Monks, trying to keep this run going. Off the top of the net, and unable to dig that one was Young. Now a 3-point advantage for the Monks. The back row, Prescorn sends it up. McIntyre, a little too far for Young. Off of the net. Now first to 7 will come into play. 58 rather. Here's Holland. Looking outside to Young. Holland recovers. Tapped back over. Tercey can't get there on the dig. And we will switch sides. Monks lead it 8-3, advantage of 5. What do you have to change here for the Eagles? It looks like there's been some miscommunications and a little bit of some pure unluckiness.
I mean, there's really nothing to change. I mean, nothing huge really. It's just more of just get in front of the ball, make sure it's going up. I mean, if the bounces aren't going your way, there's really nothing you can do about that. But definitely want to be in charge of the ball as much as you can.
Now as we head the other way, serving left to right now are the Monks. Here's Holland. McIntyre will get there on the outside, setting up Young. Sixto now outside to Sylvester. Blocked at the net. And point goes to the Eagles. Monks hit it 4 times. 8-4 now. Cheyenne Young will try to put a run together for the Eagles. She sends it over just out of bounds. Point goes back to the Monks. Nadia Sixto now to serve. Handled by Beal. She taps it back over. Holland is there. Now Chamberlain. Webster gets it over. Beal again off the block. They can't get there. And the Eagles get the point back. Back to a 4-point advantage for the Monks. Couple of substitutions for St. Joe's. It'll be Maya Johnson and Greta McIntosh coming in. Sarah White will serve for the Eagles. Sophomore, one of 2 on the team out of Eagle River, Alaska. Of course, the other being Cheyenne Young. To the back row for Holland. Now looking to Sylvester, that one out of bounds. Feels like every point the Eagles get back, the energy starts to return. Just doesn't hang around for very long. There's White again. Sylvester digs that one out. Johnson looks to tap it over. Webster is there. Now Tercey looking outside to Prescorn to the back row, off of the hands of Briones. Got ourselves a 2-point game here, 9-7. And taking a timeout there is Coach Roberts. And again, we're going to step aside for about a minute on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Advantage of 2 points to the Monks as Sarah White sends that one away. And they're going to be called for a foul yet again, a double hit for the Monks. Coach John Roberts does not like that call. And what was once a 6-point lead, or 5-point lead rather, now down to 1.
Slowly but surely, Husson is coming back, and 15 is only getting closer and closer.
Here's White again to Holland. Now sent back over by Webster. Young will set up Prescorn off the block. And that will quell the run. But a good run at that gets them right back into it. It'll be Christman going back for the Monks to serve this one. Coming in is Hobbs for the Eagles. Christman trying to put together some magic to put the Monks up for good. Now Prescorn will handle that one. Beal taps it over, and they're going to play pinball. Eagles get the point.
Just the amount of momentum going back and forth in this game is like a seesaw with just a truck ton of WD-40.
Here's Schweitzer now. Sent up for Briones. That one goes out of bounds, and we are tied at 10. Timeout yet again goes to the Monks. And the Eagles have recovered well out of that first timeout from Coach Gordon. Now no timeouts for the Monks.
Which is interesting. Take 2 quick timeouts. It's 10-10, essentially best of 5 right here. Now, you don't have any timeouts to stop any potential Husson run coming from this timeout. And, I mean, I'm not criticizing the coaching in any way. I mean, there's a reason why I'm up here and he's down there. But me personally, I would have saved that one and just, maybe if it was one more point, I don't know. Again, there's a reason why.
It's always a tough call to make. I feel like this is one where there's drawbacks to any point you take that timeout, and there's advantages to any point you take that timeout. And Roberts in his 66th season at St. Joseph's College. Been around the block a few times. But again, tied at 10. It'll be Libby coming in to take the service for the Eagles. This one goes up. Holland is there. Now Webster looking to Briones. Saved. Saved again. Back over. What a save by Libby moving backwards. Now Briones again. Libby can't get there. Timeout works at the moment for Roberts. They take the lead back 11-10.
Husson crowd trying to do what they can to distract Webster there on the serve.
Miscommunication may have worked in St. Joseph's favor. Lead back up to 2 now.
Looking like Coach Gordon getting ready to get Delaney Gross into there.
Now here's Young to Prescorn. Handled by Christman in the back row, and a miss hit from Kamaya Johnson gives it back to the Eagles. Now down by 1. McIntyre is going to come in for Beal, who will go back to serve.
And this is who you want serving in this situation. Someone who can get aces, not only just aces, but points off of her serve.
And so good with the assists as well. This one a bit of a change-up serve. Unable to get it back over is Kamoli. And we're tied at 12. And this is where that second timeout comes into play. You want to try to stop the bleeding here, but you can't with no timeouts.
And this is essentially a best of 3. Obviously win by 2.
Now here's McIntyre. Been in this situation before. Shows a lot of poise. Kamoli blocked at the line. Kamoli again to the back row, finds the hole, gets to the hardwood here at the Newman Gymnasium, and now up again by one is St. Joseph's. Going to see some substitutions. Coming back in is Chamberlain and Sixto. Chamberlain will go back to serve. There is Hobbs. McIntyre to the outside for Young. And not off the deflection. I thought I heard that from up here in the booth. And now match point as Coach Gordon will take a timeout. So now no timeouts left. Win by 2, of course. And now match point for the Monks. That may have been off the net as well, but I know I heard something there.
I don't know what it was, but no matter what happens, no matter how this game ends, I mean, got to give credit to both teams. Fighting till the end. I mean, St. Joseph's losing the first 2 sets, coming back, forcing this third set, having this lead towards the end. And Husson, after giving up 2 straight sets, coming out and just taking St. Joseph's to the finish. Great job by both teams here, with St. Joe's 1 point away from the match win.
Now the Eagles back up against the wall. Kaylin Chamberlain for the Monks, looking to take a happy bus ride home. Here's Chamberlain. Here's Young now. McIntyre looks back to Young. To the back row and out of bounds. St. Joseph's will take this one. And a hard-fought match all the way down to the wire. Eagles go up 2 sets to none, and the Monks storm back, taking it 3 sets to 2 after some great volleyball here across the board. And like you said, credit goes to both teams for fighting through this one. Eagles now fall to 0-6 on the year. 3-5 are the Monks. The Eagles will be back in action this weekend in a doubleheader against Salve Regina and Regis in Weston, Massachusetts. That'll be at noon and 2 on Saturday. And they'll be back here in Bangor all the way after another set of away games following weekend. They'll be back here on Wednesday the 27th at 6 against Fisher College.
St. Joseph's heading back to Standish with this win, taking on Norwich tomorrow night, which it's a quick turnaround, and this is definitely the momentum you want going into another game if you are St. Joseph's.
Especially heading into conference play for them as well.
With St. Joseph's being part of the GNAC and Husson obviously being part of the North Atlantic Conference.
Another great volleyball matchup today. Ends with the Monks victorious for Ethan Moss and Ryan Barnes. I want to thank you for tuning in today.